Welcome to Phil Welch Stadium here at St. Joseph, Missouri. Bit of an interesting night we have in store for you guys today, as this is the start of a doubleheader tonight. The St. Joseph Mustangs take on the Warren County Crop Dusters. First game, a game that already is underway. The Mustangs and the Crop Dusters started this game in Des Moines a while back, and they are just now finishing it up today. Tyler, what can you tell me about tonight?
Well, as of right now, it is 3-0 Mustangs, except they are getting out-hit 4-0. So, Emerson Fells, he came in and started the ball game for the Crop Dusters, and 1 2/3 of innings, gave up 3 runs on 8 walks. I mean, that's absolutely crazy. 8 walks in an inning and 2/3. Ben Smith came in to relieve him, threw fine, and now they have a new starter, or call him a starter if you want. He's technically not starting, but has the ball to start this game off, and that's Jake Edinburgh. For the Mustangs, on the other hand, Denton Biller was the starter, went 3 innings, did pretty well, actually gave up 3 hits in a row, and then proceeded to strike out the side in order after that. So loaded the bases, but no issue. In terms of Edinburgh, he's okay in a lot of categories. He does have good strikeout numbers. In terms of the walk, he gives up more than you'd like to see, and the average doesn't help either. So he probably has a nasty out pitch, but it's hard for him to get to those 2 strikeouts, Charlie.
Yeah, I'm excited to see what Edinburgh's going to show us out here. Interesting, as this is technically for the Mustangs, Roy Holcomb's on the bump, and this is his first time not starting a game, if you will, although still, getting all the time in the world like a typical start. But like you mentioned, these guys both are technically making relief appearances. Take a look at the Mustangs lineup for today for the first game. And this is what you're looking at. We're starting in the 9-hole, as this is Truman Boathausen coming up to your plate right now.
Also the away team for this game. It's worth mentioning.
Yeah, so because the game started in Des Moines, they're the away team, even though the game is being played here at Phil Welch. We have Boathausen in the 9-hole, leading things off today for the Mustangs. The first pitch from Eden Bird is in there for strike 1 tonight.
Like I said, he probably has a good out pitch, and maybe he went to go to it to get ahead of Truman Boathausen.
So Boathausen, in his first at-bat, walked and came around to score the second run of the ball game. He scored on a Darius Freeman sacrifice fly in the second inning. And the second inning was the inning that featured a ton of walks for the Crop Dusters. That had 4 of them. Or 5 of them, excuse me.
Incredible how a starting pitcher walks 5 guys and is still in the ball game.
Well, they clearly, they weren't hitting him very hard, but yeah, it doesn't matter when you have 8 walks.
You also have to have electric stuff if you're walking 8 guys. And really should be thankful they only have 3 runs.
Well, there's walk number 9 tonight. Or I guess in this
walk
game.
Number 1 tonight.
So this one's going to start how it looked like, it was how it was starting in Des Moines. In steps Noah Boathausen. So we're now to the top of the order. We always say Truman Boathausen makes a good leadoff, a batter for the top of the order. Well, we're actually going to see it in effect right here in this game. Noah Boathausen, .310 on the year. On base percentage continues to climb. It's almost about .470 now. That's not going to climb it any higher, as that one's skied up to wrap at shortstop for the Crop Dusters. We're going to take a minute to show you guys the defensive setup for the Crop Dusters tonight. You saw Rapp make the play right there. Sandvik in right, Ogborn in center, Gravengood in right field, Tyler Meyer at first, Alex Matchey at second, Asa Rapp at short, Jack Pettit at third, Caden Samler behind the dish, and Eden Byrne on the mound.
And both the Mustangs, outside of the catcher for the Mustangs is different than the starter, Dom Felix.
That one hit well by Frank Gall, but right out there to left field, that's Ben Sandvik bringing that one in. Sandvik's played a lot of center field for the Crop Dusters this year, but tonight he's in left field, and Archer Ogborn slid over to center.
Yeah, essentially it's the same lineups outside of Dom Felix is replaced by Parker Griffith, a late addition to the Mustangs team. But outside of that, the starting 9 are all the same for both sides. They just brought in new pitchers.
Yeah, Parker Griffith coming in to replace Kyle Hepburn. Looks like he's made, he's finished his Mustangs year, and he's out of St. Joe for the year. There goes Bodenhausen trying to get into scoring position with 2 outs. That throw is going to go into center field. He's going to stay at second base. So Truman Bodenhausen with a 2-out swiped bag.
I don't know if he would have gotten him, but Acer Rapp was very late to the bag, and any chance they did have of catching Truman Bodenhausen stealing went away because that throw was okay, a little bit up the line. But if he's there on time, he'll be able to get a tag off the head of Truman Bodenhausen and maybe sneak away and out.
So now Darius Freeman up with 2 outs, but a runner in scoring position.
So far, Edinburgh really liking that slider. He's thrown it in the zone on the arm side, backdoor it, and throws it across the zone to glove side. And he's showcasing both right here. That is his best pitch tonight for sure.
The 2-strike pitch to Freeman is hit off the mound. Going to be a weird play for Rapp, who's going to have to field it quickly. Not in time as Darius Freeman digs out the infield single.
Really unfortunate luck for the Crop Dusters. That ball should have been right to Acer Rapp in short, and instead it hit the lip of the grass and ball went straight up. And when you got a left-hander like Darius Freeman with that much speed, it's almost impossible to gun him out at first.
So Freeman reaches on the infield single, which keeps the inning alive. And now Jeter Mose is getting an opportunity to grow this Mustangs lead here in the 4th inning.
I feel like I haven't seen Mose that much at home recently, which is really interesting to say. He's a guy that has been a staple in the Mustangs lineup all season, but he didn't play the last game, and I think it just kind of threw me off.
Yeah, Mose Glick played the last 2 home games versus the Crop Dusters, but tonight Mose's back in the lineup.
And to be fair, Glick did hold his own, had a couple of really clutch hits with guys in scoring position. One player of the game, I believe, one of the games as well.
He had a base-clearing triple. Mose missing the last 2 home games, but still 3rd in the team in at-bats, just 1 at-bat behind Darius Freeman, who's 2nd. Mose hits that one fouled, so the count remains 1-2.
Interesting how to see the lineup for the Mustangs the second game around.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see if that shifts around. You wouldn't expect. I mean, with these games only being 7 innings, these players are definitely capable of playing both, but you wonder how Johnny Coy messes with the lineup. That one's hit well by Mose, but right at Ogborn, who's in center field. So a 2-out line-out is going to strand 2 runners here to start things off in the 4th inning tonight. Mustangs are still going to take the 3-0 lead as we head to the bottom of the 4th inning here at Phil Welch. Welcome back to St. Joe. Roy Holcomb on the mound for the Mustangs tonight. We mentioned this is his first relief appearance on the year for Roy Holcomb.
It's a relief appearance, but it's not a relief appearance. A guy that had time to warm up in the pen, knew when he was going to come in, and now he gets to start with a 3-0 lead, which makes it even better. Roy Holcomb on the year, he actually started the last game Charlie and I were here to bring to you. But has a 2.83 ERA, 131 whip, a strikeout to walk ratio that's very good. Doesn't strike out that many batters, but keeps the walks way down. Really, the only concerning thing is the opponent batting average being over 314, but it doesn't seem to affect his ERA too much. He does work out of jams. Last time he played against Warren County, he gave up 2 runs, but worked out of a ton of traffic.
Yeah, Roy Holcomb in his last start, which was on Saturday here at Phil Welch versus the Crop Dusters, through 5 innings, 6 hits, 2 earned runs, 3 runs scored, 1 walk, and 3 strikeouts. So not his best start, but not his worst, as Frank Gall almost makes an extremely tough play, but it's going to land foul.
Credit to Frank Gall showing the effort out there. Anytime you're running full speed and you feel the warning track out there in foul territory, and it looked like he laid out for it at least, maybe into a slide, and that's a pretty tough play to make because as much as you want to focus on catching the ball, you also have to worry about your own health, and sliding full speed into a fence is never fun.
So the full count now to Jack Pettit, the 5-hole, goes down on strikes. So that's now the 4th strikeout in a row in this game for the Crop Dusters, as to end the game in Des Moines. It was back-to-back-to-back strikeouts. That was Denton Biller who struck out the side.
Holcomb not known for the strikeout and really wasn't going for it. Just threw a fastball. The batter took it for strike 3.
That's the 5th strikeout looking in this game.
So matching on the year is the most common name you'll see in the Crop Dusters lineup, has the most at-bats in the team. In terms of stats, though, nothing too impressive. 222 average, 297 on base, and a 259 slugging. And doesn't really walk that much while striking out a ton.
Well, that'll break the strikeout streak for the Crop Dusters, but it's a routine lazy flyout to Truman Bodenhausen at second base.
Tyler Meyer, decent on-base percentage, but the average and the slugging way down for him. Kind of the story for the Crop Dusters. Low averages, low slugging percentage. They do find ways to get on when they can, but a team that offense has not been great this season. That is why they find themselves second to last in the Mink League.
Yeah, well, their offense hasn't been great, and their pitching hasn't been good enough either to make up for the subpar offense.
I also apologize. I was trying to get the scoreboard working, but it went down. It's a 2-0 count, Tyler Mayer. 3-0 Mustangs, and they're the away team tonight.
Holcomb gets back in there for strike 1. 2-1's your count. He's had 2 quick outs here in the bottom of the 4th inning. That one's grounded right at Schmidt, who's playing shortstop tonight. Gathers, tosses, well in time, so that'll do it. 3 quick routine outs for Roy Holcomb, as he looks pretty good to start things out here in the bottom of the 4th inning tonight. We're going to go to the top of the 5th inning. We'll see if the Mustangs can grow their lead larger and score their first runs tonight. Ike Book set to lead things off here in the top of the 5th inning in just a 7-inning game. So with these games being doubleheaders tonight, it's only going to be 2 7-inning games instead of 1 9-inning game. That one's off the end of the bat from Book. Brought in by Gravengood out there pretty easily in right field.
So here's Parker Griffith, the new addition to the Mustangs. It's interesting to have this late of an addition to a team, Charlie.
Well, I think with Hepburn leaving the squad, they were left without a second catcher, and I'm sure Dom Felix appreciates having some company back there behind the plate.
Well, I'm sure Jace Johnson would have stepped in. Not too often you see your team's ERA leader behind the plate.
That might be why they didn't want him to step in. I think they were happy enough with what he's been doing on the mound this year. Didn't want to risk any sort of injury or anything like that by putting him behind the plate.
In Griffith's first game, he's only had 4 at-bats, but went 0 for 4 with a walk. But there's
that
his
one
first Mustangs hit.
Down the line, so that's going to be Griffith's first Mustangs hit, and it could be extra bases as he's digging for 2. And he's going to slide in safely with a double. So Parker Griffith picks up his first hit as a Mustang.
I mean, it's a good swing. It's hard to analyze after one swing, but looked good, sat back on that breaking ball, got good wood on it. The one thing we can say for sure is, much like Dom Felix, he's not known for his legs.
Griffith, a sophomore out of Northwest Missouri State. He's from Lee Summit, so he's familiar with the St. Joe area. That's Jordan Black getting one to fall. So 2 hits, and Griffith is going to stop at third. He had a hard turn, but the smart decision to hold up at third base. So Jordan Black, he's now 1 for 3 on the night.
Black is the one guy you would love to see on this Mustangs team heat up. He was a great player at Johnson County, and really it'd be nice to have his bat looking great for the playoffs.
Yeah, that was Black. Before that was the only Mustang who had yet to reach base tonight in this game.
Any way you can as well. Kind of jammed him, flared out to right, but whatever gets the job done.
So now it's Schmidt taking one off the hand area. So he'll take his free base, and just like that, the Mustangs have him loaded with no outs, or excuse me, just 1 out here in the 5th inning. The 1 out was Ike Book, who flew out to right field.
Back-to-back hits and a walk, and shows you how quickly an inning can turn around.
So Truman Bodenhausen, his second at-bat tonight, hitting in the 9-hole. Bodenhausen walked to start last inning. Got to third base, but got stranded. Now he's the one with a chance to bring runners in as he takes a 2-0. Again, the scoreboard causing some issues, but the count's 2-0. And the bases are loaded with 1 out here in the 5th inning. Bodenhausen hits that one well. It's going to be down, and it's past the right fielder. That's Sandvig out there in left field. So everyone advances 1 base. Griffith comes in to score. Bodenhausen picks up the RBI.
Sandvik should be thankful that only resulted in 1 run, because it looked like he was going to have a chance to catch that. Runners had to tag, but he was in between trying to commit to laying out to that ball or trying to let it bounce on a hop. And really in that situation, that's the time you lay out for a ball. Your center fielder's coming to help you, and the runners couldn't go anywhere. But just to not commit like that kind of looked awkward.
Yeah, he looked frozen solid out there in left field. And Sandvig, again, I mentioned used to playing center field, so, a solid outfielder, but got caught in between right there.
The one easier thing about playing center field is the ball's true. If the ball's hit to your right, it's going to only keep going to your right. If the ball's hit to your left, it's going to only keep going away from you. When you're playing the corner outfield, the ball could be hit to your left, and the ball is going to work itself back to you, or it could be hit to the right and work away from you, depending on which corner outfield you're playing. So just different shapes you see out there when you're playing defense.
And those sinking line drives are tough for anyone, no matter who you are playing the outfield. This time, Bodenhausen grounds 1 foul. So Truman Bodenhausen came through with a single. Now it's Noah Bodenhausen's turn to increase this lead even more.
I do believe in a 7-inning game that this game could be over in 5 innings, shall the Mustangs put on 6 more runs. And I don't know if that's worth noting for this game, but definitely for next game.
Bodenhausen's been really hot the second half of the year. He was a solid outfielder for the first half, but really turned it around offensively. And that's why his average has climbed well over 300.
He's a perfect leadoff guy. He's got a ton of speed to go along with the high average and very high on-base percentage. A guy you trust to get on, work counts, and usually be a run scorer. And then that sets up your run producers in Darius Freeman, Dom Felix, and Jeter Mose.
So he's going to take ball 4 on the full count, so that brings in a run. So the walks continue to be a major issue for the Crop Dusters in this one, as that total just keeps on climbing.
And you're going to have a mound visit there, and it's hard when you're pitching, and there's a difference between walking 8 guys and walking 2 like he's done here tonight. Walking 8 guys, I can't really see that as mental. It's just some guy who doesn't have the confidence and the ability to get it over the plate. But walking 2 there is more just a lack of focus.
So now it's Frank Gall who's going to step up. He's going to look at Rally right there, trying to hype up the crowd. Not a huge one tonight, as it is only 5. Now we're turning into 6 o'clock. But still earlier than what these fans are used to in terms of their Mustangs baseball.
Frank Gall is yet to homer, but he almost got one over the party deck a couple games ago at home. So he's definitely capable of it.
Now would be a great time. Why not have your first home run be a grand slam?
He was a pinch hitter, actually, with the bases loaded and flied out to the track against the Crop Dusters. Hoping for redemption here.
That fastball is in there on the outside corner. So Edenburn, after the bases loaded walk, now ahead of Gull 0-2. 1 out, bases loaded. That was the same pitch. Gull threw a ball out, or threw the bat out there, and it's going to be a fly out in foul territory. He was worried about going down looking and just tried to foul it off and stay alive. Unfortunately for him, it stayed in play.
I don't hate that swing from Gall right there, because it could go either way, and typically when you take a swing like that, you're fooled. You just try to foul it off, and he was definitely trying to at least stay alive, but flight out kept it in play.
So now it's Freeman up, bases loaded, and it's the top of the 5th inning. Mustangs, again, are the away team tonight because this game is a makeup game that started in Des Moines, Iowa. Later tonight, they'll take on the Crop Dusters again in a 7-inning game. This one's going to be grounded right to Matchy at second base, who's going to flip it to Rapp, and that'll do it. So the Mustangs leave them loaded, but they do get 2 and grow their lead to 5 runs. We'll come back in the bottom of the 5th inning, where the Mustangs are going to try and keep that lead. Levi Beeler leading things off for the Crop Dusters as they're down 5-0 in the bottom of the 5th inning, and it's only a 7-inning game. That one hit well. Bodenhausen going back on it and able to make the grab, the over-the-shoulder catch.
We'll have a chance, Charlie. Let's take a look at the Mink League standings. The Mustangs have officially clinched first place. The Crop Dusters' magic number is .5. So they have to win out of their 4 games remaining, 2 today, and they have 2 more the rest of the year. And the Merchants would have to lose all of their games. So the Crop Dusters need an absolute miracle, but if they lose this game, they are officially eliminated from playoff contention.
Yeah, that one's hit right to Schmidt, but in other words, it's looking pretty bleak for the Crop Dusters right now.
And really, the final standings are almost all but over. The Mustangs are in first place. The A's and Renegades could flip-flop depending on how those games go. The A's are here tomorrow. In terms of the Mudcats and Bombers, the game on Sunday, the reschedule from last week, is going to be the Bombers at 3 o'clock against the Mustangs. That may have implications on what seed they will be, but it really doesn't change who they're going to face.
Yeah, I mean, it's the playoffs are really all but set. The one game that could be interesting is tomorrow night, and that will be probably the biggest game left this year, and that's just going to be Clarinda versus the Mustangs. And that's big for Clarinda as they're the ones who are fighting for the 2 seed. The reason the 2 and 3 seed are so more significant than any other seeding is those are the 2 seeds they get to bye. So 1 and 2 get a bye through the first round, where the 3 seed, they have to keep playing. Holcomb looks like he wants this one. He's got to take it. So not very often you see a pitcher come that far off the mound to make the play, but Roy Holcomb wants to do it himself, and that's another quick inning of work for Mr. Holcomb as the Mustangs still lead at 5-0. Top of the 6th inning. This one's really flying by as, again, we're only playing 7 tonight. That one's in there for strike 1.
7 games feel so different now. I mean, this one's going to feel even more different just because we started in the 3rd, but 7-inning games, the Mustangs love to come from behind. Really, they don't look that great the first 6 innings of ball games, at least as of late, and they come storming back in the 7th. They can't afford to go down 5-6 runs like they've done in the past. That's a game where you got to lock in from opening pitch. Now, it might help that they're playing 4 or 5 innings of warm-up baseball this time around, but the second game, they really got to come out swinging.
Yeah, the last game versus the Crop Dusters was at home as Mose shoots one towards the parking lot. That was the one where the Mustangs fell behind early and then had to rely on that late comeback like they've done all year, to bring out the win. Another thing to note is, for the Crop Dusters, they haven't played a game not versus the Mustangs since July 10th. And in the Mink League, where you're playing almost every day the entire summer, they've had 4 games, and they've all been versus the Mustangs.
They all haven't gone well for them either.
Mose hits one to Sandvig and left. Had a little bit of trouble reading it, but still a routine play for Sandvig. But yeah, you kind of wonder, when we were looking, almost 10 days ago now at this point, we saw, the playoff picture, the standings kind of forming, and you see the Crop Dusters who are just a couple games out, but we kind of focused on the fact that, they're going to have to climb the standings while playing the Mustangs, which doesn't exactly bode well for them.
Like we mentioned, they got to take both games to the Mustangs. They got to come back 5 runs, and then hope Carroll loses out, in addition to winning their final 2 games of the season. I mean, never say never, but it's going to be a very tough sledding for them.
That one fouled straight back by Ike Book. Ike Book started the year really strong. Only played about 4 or 5 games, but was doing well. Then got hurt. And then his first home game back was versus the War Dogs, which didn't count for his stats. Had 3 hits. But then since then, it's kind of quieted down again. And this is a full count pitch to Ike Book. He takes ball 4.
And if you count those 3 hits against the War Dogs, it was a legit game. And honestly, the War Dogs had the Mustangs number almost the entire night. But if you were to count those hits, he'd probably be hitting over the 290 mark.
Yeah, that just shows you what little, in terms of at-bats he has this year. So now Edenberg's picking off over there on Ike Book. And now Parker Griffith's up, and he got his first hit in his last at-bat, which was a double down the line. So he's 1 for 1 in this game. As Dom Felix started this game originally, Felix went 0 for 2 with 2 flyouts.
It's funny, he has Dom Felix's pink bat, but looks like Kyle Hepburn in terms of his hair and skin tone.
Yeah, that pink bat has been used by a good amount of Mustangs this year. We saw Johnny Coy using it in the Mustangs alumni game. We've seen Carson Schmidt swing it a little bit.
Also worth noting, if you look at the scoreboard in your bottom right corner, the Merchants game, Merchants versus Athletics, is going on after the Mudcats Merchants game. Excuse me, that should say Mudcats versus Athletics on the far left. That's a live score, so it's 4-4. The other 2 games are slated to start at 7 o'clock.
Griffith takes strike 2, so now it's a full count to Parker Griffith. Trying to build off the double in his last at-bat, pick up his second base hit of the year. Instead, it's a check swing strikeout. So Griffith goes down looking. His second punch out. And now Jordan Black steps in, who had the flare to right field in his last at-bat, which made him 1 for 3.
Yeah, Black's average probably around the 220 mark after that single. But he has the power, has the average back at Johnson County. And we've talked about it all year, but he's a guy that if he can heat up, there's no hole in your offense. Jordan Black typically hitting in the 8th spot in Mustangs games, but was a middle-of-the-order guy for the Johnson County Community College.
That one's skied out there to left field, and Sandvig makes the grab. So, quick innings here tonight so far. The Mustangs are leading at 5-0 as we head to the bottom of the 6th inning. Asa Rapp due up for the Crop Dusters. As we're in the bottom of the 6th inning and a 5-0 ball game.
It's a 5-0 game right now, but Roy Holcomb has a little bit to prove because we don't know who's going to start that playoff game on Tuesday, the first round of the playoffs. Right now, I'd say the job is between him, Sam Pitts, and Denton Biller. But if Holcomb looks good here, he might get the nod that first game. He'll have enough time for rest. And we'll see what Johnny Coy and Max Stevenson decide to do.
Yeah, because with the playoffs only being a week long, the Mustangs have had, 4 starters really all year. And each of those is only going to get one go at it.
What's crazy is I would say this first game is the most important one as opposed to the championship because it's one game elimination. The championship is best of 3. But if you don't bring your A game, a 6 seed could easily beat a 1 seed. And that's it. That's your season right there.
Holcomb wanted another pop fly. Instead, Mose takes this one. So that's what that's supposed to look like when a pop fly heads to the pitcher.
If anything, that would be the play Roy Holcomb should make. Typically, you're not going to see the pitcher make the play on any pop-up, but if you don't have to move, that's when they sometimes can call people off. Not on a ball down the first base line.
Gravengood playing right field tonight for the Crop Dusters.
Also worth noting that Mudcats' Clarinda game is also 7 innings. So right now, the bottom of the 7th, that is the last home half of the inning. Shall the Clarinda A's walk it off?
Gravengood trying to signal that he got hit there, but he offered at it. Yeah, he's upset. He thinks he should be given first. I mean, it clearly hit him in the forearm, but he swung at it.
And he's looking at an appeal to the first base umpire. I don't really know how much that's going to help if the home plate umpire already called it a strike.
Fouled back. Counts 1-2 now. Again, we're having some serious issues with the scoreboard right now. But the count is 1-2. Bottom of the 6th inning in a 7-inning ball game. Mustangs playing a doubleheader tonight, both versus the Crop Dusters. There's one out. Holcomb has pitched every inning so far tonight. And that's a beautiful pitch. Looked like a changeup or something from up here. And now in steps Caden Samler.
This is the best we've seen Holcomb look really since the first couple starts of this season. Been around the zone and really as a off-speed pitch working for strikeouts. There was the changeup. He's gone to the breaking ball as well. This is the Holcomb you want to see in the playoffs.
Yeah, Holcomb started opening day, which what feels like forever ago for the Mustangs now, but he's looked good in every start. He's had one shaky start where he didn't look like himself, and that's why his, the ERA is a little higher, but it's still a 2.83, so still really solid, but compared to what he's doing all year, I'd say his ERA is higher than what I would guess.
There's that, and he's also thrown the most amount of innings going into this ball game as well, so shall he go the distance here? He'll be up to 39 innings. Most of the team. Second would be Sam Pitts and Bronco Witt, both at 33.
Take a look at the ERA leaders right there. You can see it. A lot of Mustangs. And that's just how dominant this pitching staff has been all year. So it also shows, with what we were talking about earlier, a lot of options for who's going to start that playoff game. Holcomb's not even pictured there, but still one of the better ERAs in the entire Mink League.
And really, I mean, a guy like Trenton Roller, he started a couple games, and in his 14 innings of work has allowed 1 run.
Yeah, Roller was just a late add to the Mustang squad, which is why he hasn't thrown as many innings. Schmidt's going to go the easy way for the third out. So Holcomb looking really, really nice tonight here at Phil Welch Stadium, and so are the Mustangs as they lead it 5-0 as we go to the last inning, the top of the 7th. Top of the 7th inning here at Phil Welch. Carson Schmidt leading things off for the Mustangs as they look for some more insurance before we go to the bottom of the 7th inning.
Carson Schmidt is an interesting guy in this Mustangs lineup. You look at his stats, and they almost blow you away. And it's not like that sample size is that small either. 61 at-bats. It's not that high on the Mustangs, but in terms of a sample size, good enough to tell how good a guy is doing. And for a guy like Schmidt, he also, in the tops of the team in stolen bases, he has 18. That's 3 behind Darius Freeman for the lead in half as many at-bats. So he's a guy who could have almost 40 stolen bases and be at the top of the Mink League if it wasn't for the lack of playing time. And I don't think that lack of playing time is due to his performance. It's probably his inability to maybe travel. But in the playoffs, he's a guy that could definitely start ball games for the Mustangs.
As that one's dropped behind the plate by Caden Samler, so Schmidt gets a second life. 2-2's the count. But Schmidt also joined the team a little later than the rest of the squad, but not enough to make up for that kind of lack of at-bats. Something that also could be the age. He's a lot younger than these guys. Not that that plays a huge factor, but something to think about. The 3-2 pitch to Schmidt. A late swing, kind of a check swing from Schmidt. And he digs out the infield single. So Carson Schmidt showing that speed that, Tyler, you were just talking about.
And I wouldn't be surprised on the move here. One of the fastest guys on this roster. And it's also pretty impressive to do it at 6'2".
Well, that's kind of what makes him such a threat. As Edenbird's going to get talked to right here, and that's going to be his night. We'll take a quick break while the new pitcher for the Crop Dusters gets warmed up. Truman Bodenhausen, the first player here tonight to reach his third at-bat of the evening. And in his third at-bat, he's going to fly out to Meyer at first base.
Not the most climactic start to Cole Sonnenberg's outing. A guy, I feel like we say a lot when he comes to Phil Welch. Not only a hitter, but has the most appearances for the Crop Dusters.
Well, he leads the team in appearances by 3. And he has now, or I guess by 4 now. This is his 12th appearance as Schmidt takes off for second base. He's looking for number 19, and he can't get it. So Schmidt's gunned down, trying to get into scoring position with 2 outs.
That's sometimes when you go feet first, you allow your head to be easily tagged. You can kind of slap the tag before your foot gets in. On the flip side, if you go head first, it takes a lot longer for the shortstop or second base, the person who's tagging, to reach down and grab you, just because they don't have to go as far.
As Schmidt opted for the feet first slide. I don't know if it would have made a huge difference, as I think he might have been wrung out to dry either way.
A really good job by Samler. Got that out quickly, and a pretty good throw.
A good toss from Caden Samler. Again, guns down Schmidt, who was looking for number 19 on the year. But like I was saying, this is Sonnenberg's 12th appearance. No one else on the team has more than 8. He has 32 in a third innings, and most of them are in relief.
Supporting a 5.85 ERA. Normally, I wouldn't say that's all that great, but on this Crop Dusters team, it averages out very well. As a team, the Crop Dusters have a 5.53 ERA.
Yes, that's kind of right in the middle is Sonnenberg, but now it's Bodenhausen. So Sonnenberg with a good inning of work out of relief. Came in with a runner on first and no one out. And it took him about all but 3 minutes to get out of it. So we go to the bottom of the 7th inning. And again, only a 7-inning game here tonight. So the Crop Dusters are going to need 5 of them. We're going to look at the current playoff picture. If the season were to end today, and we only have a couple games left, this is what you'd be looking at.
And there are a couple of things that aren't going to change. The Mustangs have locked down the 1 seed. The Carroll Merchants, almost 99% chance they will be the 6 seed. The Jefferson City Renegades and Clarinda A's jockeying for 2 and 3. And the Bombers and Mudcats really not playing for too much because they're going to play each other. But out of those 2 teams, they might switch who's home or who's away. But as of right now, the 1 and 6 are locked down. The 2 and 3 are interchangeable. And very interesting, if we go back to the broadcast, Charlie, the Mudcats are currently beating the Athletics 5-4 in the bottom of the 8th, which is the last inning because it's a 7-inning game.
Yeah, and again, that 2 and 3 so very important as Frank Gall brings in the line drive. So that'll be the first out of the inning. That's Jack Pettit flying out to Gall. Or excuse me, that was Alex Matchey. Here's Tyler Meyer. But yeah, I mean, that 2-3 is so important because that's who determines who gets the bye and doesn't have to play Monday.
Think about it this way. You need one game to go to the Mink League champion if you're a 1 or 2 seed. And it's single elimination, so anyone can beat anyone, and you're just leaving it more to chance if you have to win 2 games instead of 1.
And even if you're able to win, if you're Clarinda and you drop to the 3 spot and now you have to win an extra game to get there, that's pitching you're not going to have if you do get there. As the 0-2 pitch from Holcomb is hit sharply to Darius Freeman, who's going to let it drop in front of him.
Freeman got a great jump, and I thought he was going to take the risk. It probably wasn't necessary in a 5-0 game. You just need outs here, but that would have been an incredible play. Very Logan Miller-like.
One out, bottom of the 7th. Just a 7-inning game tonight. The Crop Dusters are the home team. This game started earlier in Des Moines, so we started tonight in the 3rd inning. That one's in there for strike 1.
Levi Biller stands at 5'10", 175. Pretty traditional build at this level of baseball.
Beeler from Ellsworth Community College went 1 for 18 in his freshman year with 12 strikeouts. So he's looked to build upon that this summer. He's had a much better summer. He's batting .250. He's limited the strikeouts majorly compared to what they were in college. But now he's down to 0-2.
I wouldn't say he's limited it too much. I mean, he has 36 at-bats and struck out 17 times.
Well, compared to 12 strikeouts and 18 at-bats.
The ratio's getting better. I just wouldn't say it's a point of strength for him. RBI single by Sean Bazemore tied the ball game up, so it's A's 5, Mudcats 5.
That's a big hit from Sean Bazemore. And that's a punch-out, so Beeler's strikeouts to non-strikeouts ratio gets worse. And then steps Ben Sandvig.
And this just in, the Clarinda A's walk it off. So 6-5 your final score, as Connor McNatt with an RBI single, back-to-back singles with the runner placed on second. And the Clarinda beats the Mudcats, so now that 2 and 3 seed, it's going to be very hard for the Renegades to snag that spot.
Well, if we're talking playoffs, the hopes for the Crop Dusters have officially died, as the Mustangs take Game 1 of the doubleheader here tonight, 5-0. They started 3-0. We're going to take about a 30 to 35-minute break, intermission, if you will, and then we'll be back with a full 7-inning game between the Mustangs and the Crop Dusters. So for tonight, it was Tyler Mundo and Charlie Marshall. We'll be back with you guys very, very shortly.